So this is my current situation. This is where I've been living for the past 2 weeks. I sleep on this side of the bed. Still got clothes in there, all my music equipment's in there, and I have about half of this covered. And I need to find another place to live. So I guess I should start from the beginning. My whole life has been packed up into boxes. Again. Here we are, 7 months later, saying goodbye. It's funny how now I'm like all sentimental. Room. Treated me well. Crackheads. You've been fun. Say goodbye to this room. Anyway. That's it. Say goodbye. Okay. So, I guess I gotta go back to maybe 3-4 months ago. I had found a place to live and had found a job. Said job then made me a manager against my will. And said job required me to work basically 50 to 60 hours a week. And that's, I think, where it all started to spiral. Summer had ended and it started getting colder, and I felt some weird mixed emotions about my music and the direction that I wanted to head. Basically, up until that point, I had not been able to write anything for me that actually felt like me. And I was doing all these sessions with these great producers in drum and bass, but the music wasn't really resonating personally on a deeper level. Amongst me trying to figure out what it was that I personally wanted to do, I had written this song with a very big artist in the drum and bass scene. He invited me for a session. We did 2 sessions. We finished this track. He then started playing the track at festivals. You know, a few people knew it was my voice. Not that I was ever credited. And so I kind of was starting to figure out what I wanted to do and the music that I wanted to make. And I was working with Chunky again in Australia. And then said artist one day just sent me a message saying, by the way, I've re-recorded the song with a different vocalist. And it shook me. It shook me, I think, because I was already feeling a little bit lost, and that happened. And I thought at the time it was a sign to like stop. But if anything, I think it was a sign to continue doing what it was that I wanted to do and the music that I wanted to make. At the end of the year, I knew I didn't want to live in the area that I was living in. I basically saw my life like it was back in Australia. I'd wake up, I'd go to work, I'd be so tired, I'd come back, and I couldn't put anything in creatively because I was so fucking exhausted. And I guess from all that, motivation plummeted and mental health severely decreased. And the reality of where I was living was pretty grim. Obviously, no one in my family actually knew the reality of this place that I was living. Obviously, my room was nice, but it was a pretty grim area, and there's only so many times you can come home to human shit in a stairwell of the place that you live and not let it get to you. So anyway, I'm not going to go into it too much, but I knew I had to leave. I didn't like where I was, the area of London that I was. I knew where I wanted to get. And at the end of last year, I found this room, this sublet. I said yes to it because I knew it was in a better area. And I didn't want to stay there. Obviously, I was scared, but if I had stayed just because it was comfortable, I knew I would have ended up regretting it. So New Year's happened, and a few days before I was meant to move flats. A few days before I was meant to move flats, my grandma passed away. in Australia. And I think the part that hurts the most is not just the pain, but I think the main thing for me is the guilt that you feel when you're not there for your family. Obviously I couldn't go back for the funeral. Can't afford it, / my life has just been in such a disarray that I knew it was not smart. So then the following days I moved into this room. And a few days after that I had my birthday. The plan for this room was sublet until the other person moves out. Sublet for the person who's currently away, and then stay here until the other person moves out, and then sign on to the lease in March. 2 days after my birthday, the landlord sent a letter in the mail of the flat stating that when the lease is up he needs the flat back completely. So basically we all have to leave. At that point I had cried so much that I genuinely just didn't even have it in me to cry anymore. Obviously then spoke to the people that I'd moved in with, and we had agreed to try and find a flat, a 3-bed flat altogether. So currently living in this place, going back, traveling in an hour there, an hour back for work every day, because I'm still currently working at the place that I was living in, near where I was living in. And then about a week into looking, a decision was made for me to look separately. It is what it is. And I got that news on like a Saturday morning when I was at work, and immediately just jumped on spare room and was back again looking for rooms alone, but in this area that I'm currently in. I think the hardest pill that I've had to swallow in the past few weeks is I definitely feel like I'm starting again. I thought that I would move here and then that would be it. But now I'm in this situation again where I'm living half out of boxes and this place isn't mine. I can't settle. I'll have to move again at any moment. I go to work every day and I'm just thinking about all the things that I need to do. The job that I'm working is not fulfilling me and it's very mentally draining. And then I come home and I should do music, but I'm too tired, too stressed. I just think that there's 2 ways I can look at this situation. The first is bad things are happening to me because, I don't know, the universe isn't on my side and blah, 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 blah. Or these things are happening because it's pushing me to where I need to end up. And I think I have to look at it as the second option. Otherwise I will go fucking insane. And I woke up this morning and I laid in bed and yeah, I released music and I've got another song coming out soon, but the goals and the things that I had in my mind, like the girl that came here with the camera and was recording everything, like she stopped and I miss that. I think the biggest thing is putting my ego aside enough to say that it is fucking hard here when you're alone and things don't always go in the way that you wish they would, the direction that you hope. And for a long time I felt embarrassed. A lot of people back home don't know that all of this is happening. Genuinely. Because it's, for me, it might be a bit embarrassing, but then I'm just like, see those people try and do what I did. So anyway, you have to rebuild, and rebuild. You have to start again no matter how many times it takes. You just can't stop. You need to be relentless. You need to be just focused on you and your goal, and that's it. So that's my update. Today I went out and got myself a trial shift at a really cool place, which would be a lot closer to where I am now, obviously. So in a few hours I've got that, and then in the afternoon I have 2 more viewings, and I told myself that by the end of today I'm going to make a decision on where I'm going to live, because some of them are available now to move into, and I think deep down I need that sorted. I need to find a place to live and sign on for 6 months. I need to find a job that's closer to where I'm living, which will cut out travel time and will give me more time to focus on music. Then I need to hunker down, make more music, make more content, and post more. I want to make these videos more. I'm going to try and make more of an effort in that. Oh, that's a tear. Look at that. It's so dramatic. So dramatic. Anyway, that's the update. Very boring. Lots of change happening. That doesn't mean it's bad. Okay. Remember that. And just like that, the girl's got a new job. Just like that. You know what the annoying thing is? I really wish I wasn't so good at hospitality work. Fuck! Why? Anyway. So... you gotta trust sometimes in the universe. That's it. And I've got two more house viewings tonight that I have to go see. I am starting again, but that's exciting. Guess who just signed on to a new contract? Starting in 3 weeks' time for a place to live. So basically, I got a new job and a new place to live in one day. In one day. I did a trial shift, landed the job, resigned from my current job, went to viewings, applied for the last one that I saw and got it. And I think, like, for anyone watching, the reason why this is just so like a weight, because when I tell you the anxiety that I have felt for the past like 4 weeks of my life, I think it was just one of those moments when nothing was going right, and I just nothing was going. Like, when I tell you, it just felt like everything was not working. I was seriously just like, what the fuck is going on? I feel like I can breathe. I don't think anyone would truly know what it's like when you're alone in a country and you don't really know a lot of people yet. I think it's the scariest thing that could ever happen is like the chance of your stability or your room or a place to live, a place to like store your shit to come back to, home. When that is like that being on unsteady ground or like up in the air, I think that is like one of the worst feelings ever. As a person who has no one else in this country, and yeah, it's scary. But obviously now, you know, I'm gonna send myself like, you could always trust that there is a plan for you and that it'll work out in the end. But obviously today, like, I'm not gonna lie, I had a breakdown. I started fucking crying. Which, I didn't cry as much. Like, before I moved here, I genuinely didn't cry this much. This is insane. Anyway. So, for the time being, I've got 2 weeks left at my current job, and then 2 weeks I start my new one. I've got 4 weeks left in this room with the boxes. Get me the fuck out of here. But I feel like I can just relax now that I've figured out my next step and I have a plan in place. That's all. So, it's 6 p.m. I haven't eaten a single thing. I'm going to clean up this mess of a room and try and make it somewhat livable and just chill the fuck out because I need it. Anyway. Okay, maybe I can do this. Crazy hair.